Nathan Fletcher defected. Is he going to take some votes with him? What kind of chaos or lack thereof is there within Republican circles?
Well, again, as far as recently as this week, after he made his announcement, a poll shows that he lost some, but he gained more than he lost. And I think that's exactly what his calculation was. He's being criticized by the Republican Party, but people forget the icon of the Republican Party is Ronald Reagan. And when people would ask Ronald Reagan why he left being a Democrat to become a Republican, Reagan had a great response that I think Fletcher will adopt. And that is that I did not leave the party, they left me.
What are the political calculations that's going to lead up to the math that will put him in second place and into the runoff? Carl DeMaio is way out in front, if you believe one of the latest polls. Filner is there. Bonnie is in a tie, and who knows if that still is true, Bonnie DeManis. How's that going to break out? Because the pack has been running around the track like this for a long time, and then suddenly somebody's making a move on the outside.
Well, I mean, the space that he has to occupy is going to have to be on both sides. So what better way to do that than be an independent and try to peel off votes from both the two frontrunners who are very partisan. Carl is a very partisan Republican. Bob is a very partisan Democrat. And so if you appeal to the middle, and it's a bold move to do it, frankly, because he could very well be throwing away his political future. I mean, there is a lot of people in Sacramento who pictured him as the perfect statewide Republican candidate. You can't be the perfect statewide Republican candidate if you're not a Republican anymore.
Well, blue state, red state, whatever, independents are a growing movement. There's a lot of dissatisfaction, people that really believe the two parties leave something to be desired here. Who's looking down the road at that? What do Filner and DeMaio and DeManis, what kind of risk do they run jumping at him with broadsides?
Absolutely. Last several campaign cycles have seen the independent decline as state voters really increase, et cetera. But we keep talking. I've heard several times mention the polls. Well, two of the candidates, Fletcher and DeMaio, have raised the most money, very large amounts, more than we've ever seen in a mayor's race. They haven't spent it yet. They haven't spent it yet. So when you see these polls and you see about 30% that are undecided, that's, I think, why Fletcher made this very calculated decision saying, if I get, before maybe staying a Republican, I'd get a certain percentage of the independents. Now if I can get a bulk of them, that's gets me to the number 2 spot. And when you start spending that money, that's when you go up and your opponent goes down. But at the same time, your opponent's doing the same thing.
Do you imagine this move is going to generate more money coming in? And what likely is the message going to be? How is he going to position this, either with direct mail or more shotgun approaches of television?
Well, I think he's going to position himself as an independent voice. I mean, you hear him talking now. I'm an independent voice. I'm an independent voice. It's a clear bid for the independents. There was a column this morning in the New York Times on an op-ed, and Nathan's campaign sent out a press release saying they were getting donations from all over the country, from Washington, from Texas, from all these places that would have never heard of the guy, would never otherwise have donated to San Diego's mayoral race, and because of national exposure for his decision, they're now engaged in it.
Do the parties, I mean, they're speaking, very confidently that he's going to get squashed, he's making the wrong move, but isn't there just a shred of doubt, knowing that this kind of thing is happening, knowing that they can run a risk as well?
Oh, absolutely, without doubt. Again, what's really going to happen? I mean, I've heard pundits on both sides over the last couple of days say it's ranged everything from that it's a brilliant move to it's a disaster move. As you have said, it's going to be settled on June 5th, but all the same people that are saying both sides, on June 5th, if he's in the runoff, everyone's going to say it was brilliant, and if he's not, everybody's going to say it was a disaster. So, it's real easy to have a hindsight, et cetera, but I think it was a very bold and courageous move because, again, this is the 8th largest city. We keep forgetting that. This is big time politics. The mayor of San Diego represents more than several governors in our country. So I think this is, if he gets in the runoff, and clearly it's going to be runoff, so depending who his opponent is, it's going to be a heck of a general.
Liam, during this campaign, Fletcher and Bob Filner have had what is being called a bromance. They're very complimentary of each other.
Very good rapport. It's very funny
Filner was saying, I'll make you my sports commissioner. You're going to have a place in my administration. That's probably not true anymore, is it? Has the cord been cut between those two, and is Bob going to get caustic about it?
Well, it was funny on a debate or a forum on Wednesday night, the day that Nathan made his announcement. They were the same sort of jocular pair that they've been throughout the entire time. In fact, Bob made a mistake about saying he wanted to get the pedestrians out of Balboa Park, which is, of course, the exact opposite of what the plan is in terms of getting rid of cars in Balboa Park. And Nathan leaned over and said, "Bob, you mean cars, right?" And so he corrected him friendly, and that's something that's sort of continued to appear like it will continue. But we'll see. Bob Filner's a fighter. We'll see if he starts getting more down and dirty with Nathan.
Gentlemen, we're going to leave it here, but we will be revisiting this subject, I think, quite frequently between now and June 5th. John Dadian, Liam Dillon.